Okay, page 226, Joy Unspeakable. Page 226. I think we sang this Sunday, but I love these songs. But I say every time I come up with a new song, someone says, well, I sing something we know, so we sing the same ones over and again. Okay? Page 226. It's all staying to sing. Once you find it, page 226. That thing on? Here we go. I have found his grace is all complete. He supplieth every need. While I sit and learn at Jesus' feet, I am free, yes, free indeed. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory, full of glory, full of glory. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory. Oh, the half has never yet been told. I have found the pleasure I once craved. It is joy and peace within. What a wondrous blessing, I am saved from the awful gulf of sin. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory, full of glory, full of glory. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory. All that has never yet been told. Last verse. I have found the joy no tongue can tell, how its waves of glory roll. It is like a great o'erflowing well, springing up within my soul. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory, full of glory, full of glory. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory. Oh, the half has never yet been told. Thank you. Have a seat. All right, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Does anybody have a spoken prayer request? Okay. Yeah. Feel better? Good. Good. Very good. Anybody else? Okay. Okay. I've got several text messages of prayer requests, different things going on in different people's lives, in church, out of church, different things in our community and outside our community, different things that people requesting prayer for. I've gotten phone calls from people that missionaries called me the other day that over in the Philippines called me just to say thanks for something and then ask for prayer. So keep our missionaries in your prayer. Okay. Anybody else? All right, let's go to the Lord in prayer. The Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to be in your house, Lord. I pray that you bless all that we say and do. We want to glorify you with our lives and our words and everything we say, Lord. I pray that you use us. I pray that you bless in our class in the back. I pray for the kids that are lost. We want to see them saved tonight. I pray that you use our church family to win others to you. I pray that you bless tomorrow night for those who get to go out on visitation. I pray that you direct us to who to go see and what to say. Thank you for loving us, Jesus. Thank you for dying for us so we can go to heaven. And thank you for the wonderful life you've given us. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. All right, we're getting testimonies tonight. Becky, you want to testify about something? That's what I heard. Southbound. That's good. Very good. Yeah. Y'all know about that, right? Vicky, you know about that? Yeah, he rolled 4 times. It's kind of right. It's pretty much total. But it was good to praise report. Just kind of like Nate had that wreck a few months back. You think how they walk away from that? They get scratches. And we know how. If he'll acknowledge how, it'd be good. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else with testimony? Praise report, something God's giving you? We'll get into this, yeah. Okay? Turn to Ecclesiastes chapter 1. I'm going to read a lot tonight when we get to it. So I want you to have your Bibles open. Because about half my lesson tonight is just going to be reading the scriptures, first couple chapters of Ecclesiastes. Once you find it, we're not going to read just yet. Is the thing on? Can you hear me? Is it good? Okay. So Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Now, once everybody find it and look up this way. Now, once you look up, everyone's looking at me. I'll go through this before we start reading it. Okay. Alan, did you find it? All righty. All right. Once you find it, look up this way. We'll get started. No, you're not going to read yet. No, hold on just a minute. Ecclesiastes. That's once you find the book. Okay, Tam's got a praise report before we do anything else. I know what it is. That's a good way to put it. To remind you. Yeah. Yeah. And the lady's over all those people. For her to say, yeah, that's why their eyes got real big. And she's a really nice lady, but she is like they're over all of them and the buildings that they people that work for. So All right. It is good. It's like it's okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. Quit worrying. We got you covered all along. Not you know it's covered. Okay. Yeah. Blessing, confirmation. It's a good thing. All right, let's go back. Let's get to this. Anybody else got a testimony? Forget this. I'm excited about this. I couldn't wait till tonight to get here. I try to take a nap on Wednesday afternoon so I won't be tired. I'm going, usually by Wednesday I've worked my 40 hours and I'm ready for taking a nap for church. But tonight I lay down and just thinking about something. I was just excited about tonight's lesson. And I wrote stuff down. I had stuff down, but I'm going to read a lot. So the first 10 minutes of the lesson is going to be a lot of reading. Okay, but then we'll get into what I see in this. Okay. Solomon was the king of Israel, second king. We went through all this last couple of weeks. Growing up in the king's house, he's been privileged to everything in his father's house. He's had a great life. Um, he has become. God asked him when he first became king, "What will you want?" He said, "I want wisdom. Give me wisdom." So God gave him wisdom. He wrote the book of Proverbs. And Proverbs, he's wrote thousands of proverbs, but there's only just a few of them recorded in scriptures. And this is God's philosophy given to us through a man named Solomon, how to raise your children, how to deal with people who work, how to deal with other people that don't work, and different things. And Sam has experienced lately with that's part of her testimony. Her problem is once you just do your job on those situations, and now if they know that their boss is her friend, maybe they'll do their job for some of them. A lot of them do. A lot of things, there's always somebody that does. Okay. So anyway, Solomon, during the first 20 years, he's built the temple. He built his own house. He's building and building and building. Has a great life. He is in his kingdom. He has become the richest man in the world and the wisest man in the world. He has everything. But then he goes into sin, and he marries these other women. Has 700 wives and 300 concubines. And a lot of that was just this king wants a partnership with him, so he gives him his daughter to marry. Starts with the king of Egypt, Pharaoh's daughter, and it goes on from there. And all these kings, a lot of times, it's just a small city somewhere, but they send their daughter out so that it's like a contractual agreement so that she marries Solomon. Okay. So Solomon's heart is, instead of facing God, he is now completely turned away from God and goes into idolatry, allows each wife to build their own temple, and it goes into bad. Okay, but then after a while, he looks at it and he said, "This is awful." Okay, the way this is turning out is terrible. He turns back to God. He repents in his own heart. He gets things right with God. And then God, so in the first 10 years or so of his life, maybe 20 years, he's writing Proverbs and say, "This is what God said. This is how good God is. This is what you do this, you'll do this." It's all looking forward, saying, if you do this, here's what God will do. If you do this, here's what God. Look at Proverbs chapter 3 and go every chapter, you'll find this, okay? Then as an older man, he goes back and he writes the book of Ecclesiastes, because he's gone through this journey where has a tremendous life, and then he backslides or turns away from God and has a miserable life for a few years. I don't know how long, okay? You get 700 wives, how often do you get to the bathroom? You better play a line a mile long, try to get in the bathroom, whatever. Okay, oh man, he knows this is bad, okay? So he repents, gets things right, and God gives him this. So I want to read a lot. I'm going to read the first couple chapters of Ecclesiastes. This one's you turn in. I want you to follow along as we read this, because I'm going to skip through and read 3 verses and skip through 5 verses and different things, but I want to read through this. This is what he says at the end of, this is what happens if God blesses you. This is what happens once you lose the blessing, okay? A lot of people go through life losing the blessing. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities, that means emptiness. All is vanity. It means there's nothing worth having, nothing worth doing at this point. What profit hath a man of all his labor, which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. He said, I've seen this generation. One generation goes, they work hard, and then they're gone, and the next generation forgets what they've done. Okay? Just like Harden passed away 2 weeks ago, or my dad, the World War II generation, people kind of forget what they've done. And history really quickly forgets, okay? Charlie's a history teacher. I've read this somewhere that some kids could go through school for 12 years in school, and the only words that they'll hear about pilgrims is pilgrims, people who took long trips. That's it for American history. That's all they know about American history. Okay, so but people just forget about the next generation, the last generation, real quick. Okay, and Solomon looks at this and says, "What good does it do to work all this, build this stuff, and then the next generation forgets what you've done?" Okay, go on. Look down verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done, which shall be done. There's no new thing under the sun. I mean, there's nothing really. Generation after generation, we go through the same cycles of life. And we got new technology stuff. They didn't have electricity running through the walls and everything. But what we have, Solomon said, there's nothing really new. Is there anything wherever she may say, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which is before us. There's no remembrance of former things, neither shall be there any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. He said this bothers him, okay? Because he looks and says, okay, my dad was a king, spent 40 years of his life, spent the first 20 years of his life as a shepherd as a teenager, but then spent the next 20 years fighting against all of our nation's enemies. And by the time he was gone, most of the people, by the time he passed away at age 70, everyone forgot what he had done. Okay? America's the same way. Or people that start a business, and the business grows and does well. There's a man that passed away a year ago, less than a year ago, I guess. I went and talked to him in his office one day, and he told me about starting this business. He started a very successful business in Charleston. I'm not going to name his name. Very successful business. There was him and another guy, and another guy, and they had a couple people here and there, and they had a couple people here and there until by the time he retired from there, there's 200 people working there. Okay, and he had run the business. He started the business. He'd run the business. His name was on the door. Okay, but by the time he retired from there, most of the people in the business didn't know who he was. They knew they worked at ABC Company, and this is Mr. ABC that has that office over in the corner, but they didn't really care what the old man said. They didn't really care about who he was. Okay. It was just that time had passed, and the business had grown, and they didn't need him to be there to make decisions every day. And so he retired from the business. He did good. I mean, successful and everything. But I thought, man, before he died, they forgot about it. There's a preacher that started a Christian college, had a very large church, started a Christian college, and people said this to me, that they went to the college in the latter years of that man's life, went to athletic events. And when they first started the college, when he walked in, everybody stood up, like the general was here, okay? But by the time he was 70, 80 years old, when he walked in, nobody recognized him. He had been there the whole time. He'd been the people that were there, the boys that were playing basketball. He'd been their parents' and their grandparents' pastor, okay? And he had done everything for these families for 2 generations. But when he walked in, no one acknowledged him. He just the old guy walked in. Okay. One of my favorite Christmas movies, White Christmas, right? What do you do with the general when he stops being a general? Y'all have seen the movie, right? Okay. You never seen White Christmas? You need to watch the movie. Get it out. We'll rent it to you. Okay, we got it. Have you seen it? You've seen White Christmas, right? First time this year. But is it not something when they're carrying their bags in and the general is walking in carrying groceries or carrying firewood or whatever it is? You're the janitor. Or it's that own the place, okay? And he used to be the general, right? Solomon looked at that and said, man, what good does it do to build all this and do this for everybody else, and then they forget about what you've done within a generation, okay? Within a generation, nobody will even think of your name. Okay? Now, let's go on. That bothered Solomon. No one's going to remember it anyways. Chapter 1, verse 14 said, I've seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, always vanity and vexation of spirit. He said, it's just emptiness. The whole thing's done. That which is crooked cannot be made straight. And no matter how hard you try to fix something for somebody, it doesn't work. And that which is wanting, that means that there's not enough there, cannot be numbered. You can't come up with enough to fix people's problems. You can't, as a king, you can't fix everybody's. I commune with my own heart, saying, Lo, I come to a great estate and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yea, my heart hath great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief. And he that increases knowledge increases sorrow. He said, the more I learn, the more sorrow I get, because I've tried to help people do stuff for people, writing out the Proverbs. Gifts from God, a gift from God. Here's a truth that you can take home with you. People say, I don't need that. This is a truth that will change your life forever. And people say, I'll do things my way. And even if they see their way doesn't work, and they try, I want to drive my way. I don't want to try God's way, okay? That's as a preacher speaking there, okay? So Solomon called himself the preacher, and you say, do this, it works. And people say, no, I don't need to do that. I don't care. Any area of your life, you go back through Proverbs, okay? Just what Solomon wrote to people when he was young, and say, do this, and it works, okay? You don't, oh man, you don't talk about it. Yeah, God told him what to say, okay? Okay. But there's always something missing, okay? He said, I've had everything. I sought everything, knowledge and wisdom. I still come up, it's empty after a while. Okay. So he's blessed in this part of his life. Then he has this chapter in his life. He said, okay, I'm not going to try to do right. I'm just going to make myself happy. Okay? You ever get that? Or you say, okay, I don't care what anyone else says. I'm just going to make myself happy. Okay? I'm going to do what I want to do for now. Okay? I've never been taught to do that. There's been something inside of me, instilled by my dad and mom, I guess, and by the preachers and teachers that I've had, that says, don't live to be happy. Live to do what you're supposed to do, and the fruit of that is the happiness, the joy that comes with it. Okay, but what happens? This will be what's happened to Solomon when he got to this point. Okay, I said in my heart, chapter 2, verse 1. I said in my heart, go to now. I will prove thee with mirth. I'm going to make myself happy. Therefore, enjoy pleasure. And behold, this also is vanity. I enjoyed pleasure. I had 700 wives and 300 concubines. I said of laughter. It's mad. You guys are crazy. You're trying to laugh. And what is mirth? What doeth it? Well, just to make yourself happy? Okay. I sought my own heart to give myself unto wine, yet acquainted myself with my heart with wisdom, and to lay hold on folly, that I might see what was the good for the sons of men, which they should do under the heaven all the days of their life. Okay, why do people do this stuff? I don't know, driving down the road today and said, why do people do what they do? Right? Alan asked that question. Why would someone do this and not do that? And he said, why? They think it's going to make them happy. It doesn't. Okay? The streets uptown are full of people that think they're going to do something to make them happy. It's not. Okay? You go to the rescue mission uptown. I've gone to the rescue mission before with Jeff Comer and different places. I've gone to prisons before for preaching service. And the people that think they're going to do something to make themselves happy, find out in the long run doesn't make them happy. Okay? As Proverbs said there, it's vanity. Look at verse 4. Yeah, go right ahead. Okay? Vanity is emptiness. All's vain, vanity. Okay? It's like a woman looking in the mirror, we call it vanity. Okay? Or actually the mirror, they used to call it vanity. Okay. Mirth is happiness. Or just to make yourself laugh. Okay? Mirth and vanity. What else you ask about? And what? Folly is foolishness in action. Okay? You can have foolish thoughts, but putting those foolishness in action would be the folly of doing something stupid. Okay? Okay. No, ask away. Okay? I get on a roll sometimes and I say, hey, you got questions, ask. Okay? Then Solomon said, okay, I'm going to make for me what I want to make. I want to do for me what I want to do. What I've done for everybody else for the last 30 years, I'm going to do for me. Okay? Let's read this. Chapter 2, verse 4. I made me great works. I built me houses. I planted me vineyards. How many times it says the word me? I and me. I made me gardens and orchards. I planted trees in them of all kinds of fruit. I thought, well, I'll do this and it'll make me happy. I'll do this and make me happy. I made me pools of water to water wherewith the wood that bringeth forth trees. I made me servants. I got me servants and maidens. I had servants born in my house. I had great possessions of great and small cattle above all that were in Jerusalem before me. I had a bigger ranch, bigger herd. I had more than anybody else in history. Okay, I gathered me also silver and gold and peculiar treasures of the kings of the provinces. And he did. He built his house and covered the whole thing with gold. I got me men singers and women singers and the delights of the sons of men. and musical instruments, and that of all sorts. I had orchestras in my living room. The house was big enough to have an orchestra. He had people come in and sing to him or put on plays and skits for him just to enter, like we'd say a big screen TV, but in today's terminology, he didn't have a big screen TV. He had a movie theater in his house, the reclining seat and everything he wanted, right? But they were live actors. Okay, he had Broadway shows brought in just so he could enjoy them. Whatever, anything he wanted, he got it, right? He is the king. He's the richest man in the world. He can ask for it, and everyone does it. Okay, but stop making him happy. Let's read on. Verse 9, chapter 2, verse 9. So I was great, and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. I understood what was going on. And whatsoever my eyes desired, I kept not from them. I withheld not from my heart any form from any joy. For my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was a portion of it. I looked on all the works of my hands that wrought on labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity, vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun. Look this way. In one verse he said, "Man, who could eat more than I can?" I've tried that myself at the buffet. He said, "Who could have more than I have? Nobody. Who can eat more than I can? Who can buy nicer stuff than I can?" A friend of mine I have friends that I don't have any money, but I have friends that have money. I know that so a lot of times when you're with people that have money, they talk about money, or people that have stuff, they talk about stuff. And so there's a guy that lives in a place in Florida. He didn't want to live in his own house anymore because he was the president of a very large corporation, billionaire guy. Okay, and his nephew's a friend of mine, good friend. And so his nephew, my friend, goes down to visit him once a year or so, and he lives on a beach, but not on a beach house because he doesn't want a beach house. He doesn't want to have to clean the beach house or cut the grass or anything like that. So he lives in this. It's almost like a high-rise apartment, like a real expensive 5-star hotel, really, where he lives. And if he wants to cook dinner, he can cook dinner, or he can just pick up a phone in the kitchen and order his lobster or whatever, and they bring it up on an elevator in the back. At the back of the kitchen, the elevator door opens up, and the servants come in and set your table for you. And then this is the way the guy lives every day of his life. Okay, Vicky, the taxes on the place where he lives, the state, like we take property tax, our property tax is $400 a year or whatever. The taxes on this place where he lives is $125,000 a year. That's just for the tax, state tax, property tax. So you can imagine what this place is like. Okay, and Beverly Hillbillies had nothing like this. Okay, Granny still cooked. Okay, I say, is he happy? That's the kind of place where Solomon's at. He has apes and peacocks. He has monkeys. Anybody want a monkey when you're a kid? Right? Tammy did. Okay. Whatever animal you want, you could have that animal brought. He could have these animals brought in. Okay. He has everything. He says, "Oh man, it's still emptiness." Okay. So what is he learning? He's learned from all this. Okay. He's still, as long as you're alive, I got this. It's still empty. Okay. Chapter 2, verse 17. Look at this. This is after I sought after all this stuff and got all this stuff. Okay? Therefore, I hated life, because the work that was wrought under the sun was grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit. He said, after I got everything I wanted, my Christmas list was full, and I got everything I wanted, I hated life, because it wasn't what I thought it was. It is sad. I know a bunch of people like that. Okay? Was one verse in Psalm says that God granted them the request, but it sent leanness to their soul. That means they got on the outside, their flesh was satisfied. They got everything they wanted, but they're empty on the inside. They weren't happy with what they got. I know a lot of people like that. Okay. For us, that means a lot of debt. Okay. For him, it's paying cash in gold. Okay. After seeking wisdom, seeking God, following his heart's desire, and seeking folly, the emptiness came. Chapter 2, verse 13. Get to this part. Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly. That's the stupid stuff. Wisdom excelleth folly as far as light excelleth darkness. That means that means if you want to set out to do folly, to do silly stuff, stuff that's foolishness in God's sight, then the very extent of it is this far. Okay, you only get to go so far. You'll run out of time, you'll run out of life, you'll run out of money, whatever it is. Folly only takes you so far. But wisdom far exceeds it, keeps on going and going and going. Okay? Like if you put a timeline up for someone, and here's a week's time, and then you have eternity out here. Okay? Or you put a timeline up and you have 15 minutes of doing what you want, and it costs you the rest of your life. Or you have the timeline that says, seek wisdom, and it lasts a lifetime, and it has joy that lasts forever. Okay? Y'all with me on this so far? Pretty simple, isn't it, Charlie? You look. Everybody can look around at people that have everything and they're miserable with life. Okay? Who was the president of GE? I can't think of his name right now. But maybe 10 years ago, maybe bought like billionaire guy. Okay? Got divorced. Well, didn't she have everything? Didn't he have everything? Why'd they get divorced? Were they happy? The money wasn't making them happy. And the big discussion then was, she never worked a day in her life outside the home, so did she get money? And the courts decided she got half of his money. Okay? But, well, that sounds fair to me, let's say. And okay, couldn't it be happy? Couldn't they find some kind of joy? Okay? Didn't bring it. All the wealth didn't bring anything. Okay, now. Why? Chapter 2, verse 14. We'll read a couple more verses. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And I myself perceived also that one event's happened to them all. Some things will happen to you. You're going to die anyway. And said I in my heart, as it happened to the fool, so it happened even to me. And why was I then more wise? I didn't gain anything by being stupid. I mean, with the foolishness I made. And I said in my heart, this is also vanity. There's no remembrance of the wise more than the fool forever. That means no one's going to remember what I said. No one's going to pay attention. No one's paid attention to it. No one's going to pay attention to what I've done. What good does it do? Okay? With all that being said, this hit me today when I was I've been working on this since Monday morning. This lesson, because I knew where I was going with Solomon. I knew and there's a lot more to learn in Ecclesiastes. But then there's hit me in these verses. Does he say anything that brings him any kind of a joy? Is there anything that makes him happy? Okay, he's got everything. Did the monkeys make him happy? Not the music group. The monkeys, the apes. Okay. Two things to enjoy. Look at chapter 2, verse 24, excuse me. There's nothing better for a man than they should eat and drink. They should make his soul enjoy good. Underline these words. In his labor. This also I saw that is from the hand of God. Stop reading right there. Look at this way. You can read that verse over again if you want to, or highlight that in his labor. Here's something hit me on this. Okay, Solomon in his kingdom from day one, he was serving God. He was doing right. He asked God what to do. For the next 20 years, he's building, he's working, he's laboring. He's not laying the block himself. He's meeting with Hiram, and Hiram's bringing the timber workers in, to bring the brickworkers in, the guys to lay the block. And he's working with Hiram for the guys that are going to carve all the wood and inlay the gold and all the wood. So he's building and he's working, and he is happy for 20 years. Then when he turns away from God and he's not doing anything, he has no labor, he has no work, he has nothing to do but get in trouble. And he seeks after folly, the foolishness that we talked about. Not just the foolish thoughts in his head. Everyone has foolish thoughts that go through their head. Not just the foolish thoughts in his head, but pursuing them to try to make himself happy because he's got time on his hands with nothing to do. Okay? Everybody has family members like that. I got an email. You can't read this. I got an email. I was thinking about this, and then this email came that made me think about this, Charlie, that says, what they're saying is not what I'm going to tell you they're saying. What they're saying, what I think they're saying is, I have nothing to do with complain. I have nothing to do with find fault with everybody else in life. I have nothing to do with find out, well, you should be doing what I think you should be doing instead of doing what you are doing. Okay? And I think you're right. You need to get a job. You need to work 12 hours a day. When you work 12 hours a day, you ain't got time to complain about anybody does. Matter of fact, and I know this person very well, when he was working a 12-hour shift at one point, he didn't complain about anything. He didn't have to drink. He didn't have spare time to do anything. He worked, he ate, he slept. Okay? And that was it. And everybody that works like that or has a job that moves them, motivates them, pushes them, according to that verse we read, I think it's from the hand of God that gives you a job, a labor, a job to do. Rebecca's raising Josiah. That's a 24/7 job, right? That's not. It doesn't mean you have to work outside the home. Well, Kathy and Marlon are retired. Alan's retired, right? So it doesn't mean you have to continue working. But you know what Alan likes to do? He gets up every day and says, what am I going to do today? Okay? You know what he likes for you to do? He likes for you to call him and say, can you work on this? Okay? Right? Because that's what Alan has spent the last 40-some years doing, is working on stuff until he got to where he didn't want to like crawl under the airplane wings and crawl up inside the airplane wings and weld stuff anymore. So okay, man is designed to work. I think about my dad. He loved to work. That's where I get this from. This is where the part we think, Brother John, this is the fullest philosophy. It works. Up until the summer Dad died, he would go outside, work in the garden or work on the fence as much as he could. To the point where he was taking the wheelchair with him. I mean, a lawn chair with him to set it down so he could sit down and dig a post hole to set a post. Okay, like I went to work. I said, "Dad, what's wrong with that post? Why are you placing? Well, I need to move it." Okay, it had something to do. Okay, he had to go check out, look at these cows up in the pasture. Didn't have a 4-wheeler. We didn't have a 4-wheeler. Still don't have a 4-wheeler. Didn't have a 4-wheeler, so he got on his little ride mower. Okay, and right up in the pasture until Tammy gets home from work because he's stuck and he can't walk. His hips are broken and been replaced and all that stuff. He can't walk anymore, so he's stuck up in the pasture in the mud and he can't get out. And he needs Tammy to help get him out of the mud, right, Tammy? Because he's up there because he has to work on something, right? Adolph Rupp at the time was the winningest coach in college basketball, Kentucky Wildcats. If I remember right, Kentucky Wildcats. Brother Howell's our pastor in Indiana. Sat with him on a plane one day and just knew who he was, just talking about basketball and coaching and different players and different things. And at that time, there was a mandatory retirement at age 70. And Brother Howells asked Adolph Rupp, he said, you got to retire when you turn 70. What are you going to do? He said, I suppose I'll just die. Because my life has been working. That's what I enjoy doing. Okay? And he retired. He had to retire. Mandatory retirement, age 70. What did he do? He died shortly after he retired. Okay? When some people like Coach Rodriguez when he coached the Mountaineers, some people never liked him. Anyway, I kind of liked him when he was coaching. His wife was on the radio talking to Hoppy Kirchhoff on the statewide radio one day, and Hoppy said, I just got to ask you, what does he do to relax? Because he's always football, 24/7. You know, always coaching and always thinking and always planning and always visiting other players and always doing this thing. What does he do to relax? She says he goes out and washes the car. That's he goes out and works outside. To him, that was relaxing. Okay, that's what he liked to do to relax. You think, well, John, that sounds kind of sick, doesn't it? According to the verse we read, I saw that it is from the hand of God. God gives a man work, or a lady gives him work. Okay, it's a gift from God to go out and work. Okay, and that doesn't mean you have to work outside the home. Kathy's job now is to take care of Mom, right? I mean, it's still a job, right? Marlon's job is to cook for as many people as he can. Put in your order, okay? You want biscuits? Let him know. Okay. Alan's job, retirement. So it's not that you have to go punch a time clock anymore, or you have to punch Rebecca's job that says raising Josiah. She's worked in an office and she taught science or whatever, school, whatever. So it's not like, oh, well, I never did anything. Miss Joe's job was to clean houses. Okay, now. So, if you consider your job a gift from God, enjoy it. I think about this. I thought about this today. One of the guys works in our warehouse. Me and him don't get along very good. We don't mix well. Oil and water type thing. I'm wanting to go. Get out of my way. He, what can I do to help you? I said, stay out of my way. I got to do it. You got 5 skids of stuff to stick in that van. Van on a hill hold 3 skids. It ain't gonna work. I said, I'll make it fit. You couldn't get another piece of paper. You couldn't get another box in there. I mean, it's overloaded. Okay, don't tell the highway patrol people when the van's sagging like this going down the highway with all the copy paper in the back of it. You couldn't. You got 5 skids right here. I'll fit in there. I said, I'll make it fit. It'll fit. I got to put stuff in the front seat, on the floorboard in the front seat. I enjoy doing it. Now, there's some people I work with here and there, different places that you can't get along with people because people are stupid. You can't fix them. But I enjoy work. I enjoy going on visitation on Saturday. It's not really work, but going on visitation. Alan and I usually go on Saturday, and someone else comes. Jim Summers called me tonight. We may go tomorrow night and see if we can go ahead and hold his friend who wants to go see. I enjoy the labor. I enjoy the work. We have work parties building stuff up here, or putting the roof on here, adding the rooms on, stuff like that. I enjoy the work. Okay. Well, John, it's kind of sick that you enjoy that. Why? Because I look at it as a gift from God. Let me ask you a question. Charlie? I asked Charlie, Bible scholar. What did Adam do in the Garden of Eden? Okay, he ate the fruit, which was sin, right? We don't know what kind of fruit it was. What did he do before that? Talk to God, that's true. He walked with Jesus in the cool of the day. What else did he do? Named all the animals, that's really good. You know what else he did? He worked in the garden. There was no sin there. So he worked in the garden. There was no sin. So there was roses blooming, but there was no thorns on the rose. There was vegetables growing, but there was no weeds growing in the garden. Okay, because it was perfect. There was no sin there. But God gave him work before sin came. So work is technically a 4-letter word, but it's not a curse word. Okay, for some people it's a curse word. Okay, 2 things we can enjoy. One of them is work. Okay. Yes. Okay. Right. 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 You learn to work and to enjoy work. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So somewhere along the line, we don't teach our kids how to work. I love when Rebecca tells Josiah to pick up that put in the trash, or take that plastic cup and when he's done with it, put it in the sink. And we're in the living room. You hear to the kitchen sink. You hear go bang 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 as it rolls around the sink. It does exactly what. But it's just putting stuff away. It's work. It's really it's teaching, but it's work. Okay. Anybody see the movie The Rookie? Walt Disney movie? I don't know what the movie that is about the baseball player. Anybody here not see the movie The Rookie? Have you not seen The Rookie? Y'all seen it? You've seen it? Have you seen it? You've seen it? You need to watch baseball. Okay? It's great. It's a great movie. Okay? It's a Disney movie, true story. It is, huh? I'll rent it to you, along with White Christmas. I'll rent it. I'll hold your credit card till I get the movie back. Okay. Okay. It's a true story about a movie about a man that was a high school science teacher and a high school baseball coach who had tried to play professional ball, but minor leagues he messed up his shoulder and couldn't play anymore, or whatever. So he got kind of his dreams of becoming pro. We'll put aside. Okay. I was talking to Tammy's boss about this today because he's a baseball fan. But the truth is, in the movie, he is doing what he loves to do, teaching and coaching. Then he gets the opportunity to play professional baseball. He's 40 years old. Is that right? 40 years old, high school coach, 40 years old, right, Charlie? Truth, he's married, got 3 kids, right? And the oldest boy won't change the baby's diaper, won't even hold it, won't put it in a trash can. Okay, it's funny. It's a funny movie. It's a Disney movie. But the truth is, he gets discouraged playing professional baseball because he's not really doing good. This team's not winning. He throws a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but they're not doing well. Until him and his, the traveling team, one night he gets to watch some kids playing Little League baseball. And he turns to one of his teammates, because they're all discouraged about not winning. He said, well, we get to play baseball. That's what we get to play baseball. We get paid for this. We get to play baseball. And I thought about the movie with the working night. His life and his team's changed when he came up with that idea. We get to play this game. This is what we get to do. It's not like a chore. It doesn't matter win or lose. We get to play this game. He was happy coaching and teaching. He was happy playing. And at the end of the movie, he's happy again coaching and teaching again. He has a newer truck because he played professional ball for a couple years. Okay, but he's got more stuff, but he's a happy guy at the end of it. Okay. Truth is, most people go through life saying, I missed out on, or someone blames somebody else for the problems or whatever. All you got to do is get to work. Okay? And the people that don't work are usually the people that complain. Okay? Or the people who are looking for something else to do. I think I worked with one time when I worked at Big Star 40 years ago. And the boss said he needed to work, pick up the pace a little bit, work a little bit harder. I remember the guy's name, I won't say it. He told Mr. Miller, he said, you don't pay me enough to work hard. Oh, really? The boss said, I don't have to pay you at all. You can leave if you want to. And of course, the boy was my friend. I was 16, he was 17, and he thought about it. He said, oh, I should have said that, should I? I should have said that. Okay, he actually started working more and he started enjoying his work more. I'd say his conversation with Mr. Miller that day probably helped him become a better man as a man. I know he went to college. I think he became an engineer, if I remember right. But he's probably working up there on the pipeline thing with Jared. It changed him in his work habits at work because I get to do this. Okay, the complainers never realize that they get to do this. They're always looking for a way out. Okay, all right. I said there's 2 things that Solomon learned. One is enjoy your labor. It's a gift from God. No matter where you're working or what you're doing. Doesn't matter if you're working at the dairy, or teaching, raising your son, working in an office, working in department highways, or working on whatever someone brings to your house to work on, or electrician, or working in the school, or working with kids. It doesn't matter what you're doing on your work. He said, I get to do this. This is a gift from God. He put me here for a reason. Okay? Second thing is this, chapter 2, verse 20. Chapter 2, verse 24 says, is a gift of God. Verse 26 says this. For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail, to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. God giveth to man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy. And here's the second thing God gives you. God gives you wisdom, good choices, and knowledge, and joy. And if you don't have wisdom, knowledge, and joy, it's your choice. He gives the sinner an opportunity to work hard and heap up stuff and complain about his boss and complain about the company and complain about this and complain about that to the point where he's heaped up stuff at the end of his life and it's all vanity, means absolutely nothing to him, and he leaves it for somebody else. Okay? Because he dies, he strokes out, has a heart attack or whatever, because he's pressure all his life and never enjoyed it. Okay? Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you enjoy your work? Whatever your work is. Okay? I don't care if it's working in the garden or working on other people's tractors. Okay? Or whatever your work is. You enjoy your work. You realize it's a gift from God. But John, that's kind of a silly philosophy, isn't it? Anybody that understands this will be happy with their job tomorrow at work. Or they walk in and say, I'm going to do something I really want to do. Okay? A lot of people have done that. They walk in and I remember years ago, Vonda came home from work and told Ted, she said, I'm unhappy with my job. And he said, quit. And like next day, she came home. She said, I quit. I said, oh, we got payments. We just built this house. Whatever. she ended up working somewhere else, and she's happy with what she does. Okay. Any questions? Kids are doing very good. Any questions? Y'all understand this? Y'all with me on this with Solomon? Let's pray. We'll dismiss. Thank you, Lord, for loving us. Thank you for the truth you've given us in your word. Help us to love you the way we ought to. Enjoy the wisdom that you've given us and the joy that's in our heart. Never forget that you saved us and where you brought us from. Help us know that you've given us your words in that book in our lap, and we can have a great life if we choose to. Help us to understand what it is to work, to enjoy work. Please bless our church family. And all we do, we want to bring honor and glory to you. Help us be an example to others at work tomorrow. Use us, please, for your glory. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. Thank you for coming out tonight. We won't sing. We'll spare you that tonight. The kids are already out.